Okay, welcome to a quick lesson on Adobe Illustrator, how to make a logo. This is a follow-up from one of the lessons we've already done. So the first thing we'll need to do is use the Pathfinder tool. That's the one we're going to be using mostly for these exercises. So go to Window and make sure that you've got Pathfinder ticked. That'll open up this box. Also, another thing that we'll want to tick as well is Windows and Align. And this will give us some extra options in here. So the tools that we need to be using are Align and Pathfinder. We've got the boxes open. So now we go to File and New, and we can start to work on our logo. I'm going to use my initials NG. So the first thing I need to do is draw a box. And there's an option up here to colour it in. So in that particular exercise I clicked the shape, the rectangle tool, and I clicked up here to make it red. Then we've got the direct selection and the selection tool. If I click the selection tool and I copy this one and paste it two more times, so that's Control C and Control V, and you'll see we've got some extra ones. Next thing I want to do is rotate this shape. So there's a tool here, Free Transform, and you'll notice I can now do that. So I'll move it over. I'll do this quickly so it won't be by any means a perfect copy. And then I'll drag this over, and you see you've got the letter N. The next thing I need to do is make sure that everything's aligned. So you'll see we've got a line tool here, and that has lined everything up for us. You need to demonstrate using that feature in your screen annotations. So I've got the letter N. Admittedly, it's not the best there, but that will do for us. Now that I've done that, if I select it all and I go to the Pathfinder tool, I can now decide if I want to unite the objects or not. So if I click the first one, Unite, you'll see that it's got rid of all of the rest of it and just made it into one initial for us. So that's the letter N. If I go to the rectangle tool and then change it to, in my particular case, an ellipse tool, and make a circle, I've got my first circle there. But I need to make this into the letter G, so I'll make another circle, perhaps a slightly smaller one, and I'll change the colour. I'll drag that into the middle of this one, and you'll see that I got the start of my shape. And then if I click this tool, I unite it, but I don't want to do that. So I can undo it, the same as we do in Photoshop. And if I click this one, what it does is this one unites them all together. This one minus the front. This one will create our intersect for us. You can just create some shapes and start making them. I went for this one, which basically deleted the object I just put in. So now that I've done that, I've got the makings of the letter G. If I use the eraser tool and I swipe through it, you'll see that I've started to cut the object. If you double click it, you can change it to be the larger circle. So again, if I go through and I can remove layers of it, this tool isn't actually deleting. What it's actually doing is moving the pixels around. So if I draw a circle, and then I go to my eraser tool and I push it in, you see all it's doing is pushing the coordinates in. It's not actually deleting anything. It's just doing that. So that's how we can get a different shape. If you go all the way through, then you'll end up with a dissected object. And this is another good way if you want to make a logo, because you can chop something in half and then move individual pieces around. So the eraser tool isn't actually erasing, all it's doing is punching in the coordinates. Okay, now that I've done that, I need to make this into a G. So if I change this tool back to a square, and I draw a square in there, you'll notice that I've now got the makings of the letter G. Obviously, for your assignment, you'll spend a bit more time than I am in making it look a bit smarter, deleting out some of these objects. So now that I've done that, I can go to the align to make sure everything's aligned. But as you can see, I didn't really want to move that up there. So again, it isn't the correct time to align at this point. So what I need to do is go back to my Pathfinder tool and merge these. I don't want to delete anything, I just want to merge it all into one object. As you can see, they've all become one object now. And if I now went to the align tool, it would bring everything up happily for me. If I drag this closer and then select them all and do the align, it's brought it all into a nice alignment. Another thing I can do is using the rotate tool. Now that I've selected it all, I can rotate the objects, and I can, if I do the same for the N as well, I'll rotate that the other way, and you can see we're starting to make perhaps not the best logo, but a logo. Now I'll align them again, and you can see it's tried its best to align it for us. Perhaps I'd be better off picking a central align. Now that I've done that, I can go one step further again, go to Pathfinder tool and merge them all together. And now I've got my initials. That's quite a crude version, but it's pretty much my initials. Another thing that I can do then is if I select it all and I go to Effects and I go to 3D and I do extrude and bevel, it's done that for me. So there are other effects you can do, but once you've done that, once you're happy with your logo, you can then save that and put it into your Photoshop document. What you'll need to do is go to File, Save As, and you need to save it as an EPS file. Best thing to do is first of all save it as an Adobe Illustrator AI file, so that it's there for you to reuse and re-edit if you change your mind on anything. But as soon as you've got it ready in a format to put into Photoshop, you just save it as an EPS file, and that's then ready to be saved into your Word document. So that's pretty much the straightforward task of making a logo. Of course, I use my initials. If you want to, you can go ahead and make some kind of design. Thank you very much for that lesson.